pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshinim bhagavatim ashtadashadhyayinim ambatvam anusandadhami Bagavad Gita bhavadveshinim. In our last Sunday lecture, we discussed verses 26 to 28 of this chapter, which is called Yoga of Renunciation. We saw there that sages who are free from passion and anger, kama, krodha, who have controlled their mind and have realized their self, attain absorption in the Brahman, here itself and hereafter too. Second, it was told yoga was described, the yoga was described in brief as withdrawing the mind from worldly thoughts, controlling the breath, and then becoming free from desire, anger and fear. Such a person is free even in this life itself. Today we shall discuss the last verse of this chapter, the verse number 29. Then go to the next chapter, 6th chapter. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. In the previous verse it was told that by controlling the breath, by withdrawing the mind from the worldly thoughts and then becoming free from fear, anger, desire, one attains yoga. The question is, these are all mere physical and physico-mental exercises. Do you think by this alone God is realized? So this sloka says, not by this alone, this is one of the means, but by realizing the infinite Lord only, one attains to the highest spiritual illumination. Bhoktaram yajna sapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva. Mam, Sri Krishna says, me, who is bhokta of all, bhokta means the enjoyer as well as protector of all yajna tapasam, yajna and tapas. We do, all the beings do yajna. Yajna is worship of God. Each has his own way of worshipping. Each is worshipping in his own way. All those worship I take. I accept it as the worship of me. In whichever form people worship, so all worship come to me. So I accept that. And then I protect that sort of a worship also. So I am the enjoyer of all the worship of people, and I also see that they continue to worship me like that. Tapas, similarly austerities. Austerity is what exercises we do in a physical or in a vocal or in a mental level. Whatever exercises we do, controls we impose upon ourselves, that is called the tapas. Tapas literally means burning. Burning the restlessness of the mind, burning the waywardness of the mind. So to bring that mind under control, many times we say we will not talk, we will keep quiet. Mauna vrata. Vrata is again a austerity. Similarly, so to control the mind, we just say, so we will observe Ekadashi, we will observe some other festival. So that is also one of the methods to control the mind. Keep it always on a spiritual level. And physically also, we take cold water bath. We get up in the early morning and take cold water bath, as we do in the Margazhi month. So in the month of Margazhi, we all get up early morning and take cold water bath. As many people as can do that. They think it is a great punya. It creates purity of the mind. So physical, vocal and mental level, the austerities, all those austerities also I accept. So Sri Krishna says, as the indweller of all beings, so I protect all this yajna and tapas, this worship as well as austerities, because I am the Sarvaloka Maheshwara. I am the Lord of all the three worlds, all the lokas, all the three worlds, worlds of men, the world of gods and goddesses, and the world of Netherland, where the other beings are there, like the Nagas and others. So all the three worlds. So I am the Lord. So whatever worship or whatever penances are done, there I am the protector of them, I am the receiver and enjoyer of them. And Suhridam, so I am the Suhrit, so I am the friend of all. I wish always well for others. A well-wisher is called a Suhrit. So this Suhrit, a man of good heart. Hrit means Hridaya, the heart. Suhrit, a person who has a good heart. A man of good heart has got good feelings. Always a thought of blessing and compassion to others. So, Sarva Bhutanam Suhridam, I am the well-wisher of everybody. Because of that, so I accept all whatever worship they do, whatever penances they do. Such a person, the Supreme Lord as I am, Mam Mat Prasadena Jnatva. By my grace, people realize me. People have intimations of God. They get intimate experience that God is there. He is in the heart of everyone. He is the Lord of the whole universe. The whole universe is being ruled by God. These intimations, these experiences come to people by my grace. God alone gives this experience to the people who practice austerities, who worship Him in different ways. So the Lord comes down and out of compassion, out of love for His creation, He grants this knowledge. Mam Jnatva, knowing me thus, knowing me that I am the ruler of the whole world, so I am the protector and enjoyer of all the austerities, of all the worship that is being done by everyone. I am the well-wisher of one and all. Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. Knowing me thus. How do we know? You will know by my own grace, Sri Krishna says. Mat prasadena mam jnatva. Knowing me by my own grace. Because the whole universe is going on by the will of God. He is not revealing Himself to everybody. If He reveals Himself to everybody, all of us would become saints. And then there will be no more worldly things going on. There will be no dharma, artha, kama there. There will be only moksha would be there. But it is not happening. That means God Himself is not revealing Himself to everybody. Only a few people He reveals. So, that also, how does He reveal? He cannot be bribed because there is nothing, He is not in need of anything. Why shall He accept anything? And He cannot be just cajoled because He is all-knowing. Before you go to cajole Him, He Himself knows this fellow has come to cheat me. So you cannot cajole or cheat him. In no way you can get the grace of God except only through love. Love of God only is the only means to get His grace. So this love, when it is sincere, He becomes compassionate. So He grants what we want. So out of pure love and sincerity, when we pray, He will reveal Himself to us. So mat prasadena mam jnatva. Knowing me through my own grace, shantim richati. The supreme peace is attained by the aspirant. So any aspirant who just does austerities, does worship with sincerity and with love, such a person, so because God is compassionate to everyone, And God is the Lord of all the whole universe. He knows the innermost thoughts of persons. He, out of compassion, reveals himself. So, mam jnatva, thus knowing me through my own grace, the aspirant attains to shantim richati. He attains to supreme peace. Supreme peace is what we call as moksha. So, attains to the supreme peace through my own grace. So, up to now the whole chapter, he was telling the work to be done, all the works that we do should be done without attachment to the fruits thereof, or for name and fame, what we call as for our own ego. So we want to satisfy our ego. We want to show ourselves as superior to others. The hunger for showing superiority over others. So this hunger for power, they say in psychology, hunger for power. So I want to be one up. Another person wants to be another one up over me. So a competition goes on. That is also desire only. It is a subtle desire. And the desire for sense pleasures are there. So these desires make us do so many things in this world. All our activities are driven by desires. Without desire there can be no activity. So whole humanity, the world of beings, even animals also, they are driven by this one force that is called desire. Desire for gross enjoyment, desire for subtle enjoyment. Subtle enjoyments are possible only for man, in whom mind is developed. For all other animals, only the sense enjoyments are possible. So whatever it is, whether it is sense level or at the mental level, the desires make us do all sorts of things. So the last chapter it was explained to us to do our duties in the right way. Right way means do the duties well, offer all the duties at the feet of the Lord. O Lord, you are the doer, I am only your instrument. You are the soul of my soul. So whatever I do, it is because you permit me to do, I do it. So God is supposed to be the president of all our action. He is the adhyaksha, he is supervisor or an umpire. So he is there looking at all our activities. Unless he permits us, so we cannot do anything. Just as in a game, unless the referee says, now start, then the game will start. Until he says start, first whistle must go. Then only the ball will move in the football or in the tennis or in table tennis, wherever you are. The referee is there. Without his consent, the game cannot start at all. And game moves also under his supervision. Suppose he says foul, then the whole thing will stop. Then afterwards he has to set right the foul, giving some penalty or something he will do. So there is the supervisor, the person who supervises every activity of us in this world. So we must offer everything to him. The whole previous chapter was Nishkama Karma, the doing work, doing all our duties without attachment to the fruits thereof or to the name and fame that it would bring. So giving up the desire for name and fame to do our duties, that would convert all our duties itself into spiritual practice. After all, what is the spiritual practice? Spiritual practice is coming into touch with God, trying to remember God as our own soul of our soul, as very intimate to us. So to remember God, to make our mind think about God, this is the essence of all our worship. That is how we tell the stotras, we recite hymns, we sing the glories of God, we take His name, and we go to different temples and then stand before the deity, and then somebody does puja and we go on. Ashtotra Shatanama Archana is going on, or waving the candle is going on. All this, what are all this meant for? To make us remember God. Whatever makes us remember God is worship. Real worship is that which takes our mind towards God. So by offering every one of our action, and by offering we remember God. Oh Lord, I am offering this to you. You are my father, you are my mother, you are my dear one, you are my Lord. So by your power only I could do this work. So this work I offer at your feet. When we tell this mentally, we are thinking about God, we are praying to God. Actually, we have been doing the work, but doing the work itself, during that time itself, we remember, at the end I have to offer this one. Therefore, I must do this work very diligently, very concentratedly, in a very focused manner. So we do our work in the best way and offer it as an offering at the feet of the Lord. So every act makes us remember God. That means every act becomes a worship. So converting the work into worship. This is one of the greatest factors in Karma Yoga. All of us, 99% of us, are prone to do our duty. Without doing our duty, whatever we may consider as duty, somebody may think his duty is with the parents, somebody may think duty with the family, somebody has got a duty towards the village, somebody has got a duty with the nation. Whatever we consider as duty, so that makes us do work from morning till night. We can convert all the duty, the actions, every one of that action into a spiritual activity. It becomes a spiritual practice. It makes us remember God. Though we have been working just like anybody else, you cannot say a Karma Yogi by just looking at him, he is a Karma Yogi. He will be just any one of us, like any one of us. He gets up in the morning, he cleanses himself, then he goes and does his duty towards his family, duty to in the office, duty in the business house. By seeing from outside, a Karma Yogi would look like anybody else. But if you look at his mind, look deep into his mind, his attitude itself is different. In our attitude, ordinary people attitude, we will be doing it for name or fame or the results. So I must be comfortable, I must get joy out of this one. So either for joy here itself of the sensual type, or the joy of mind, that I must be praised, I must get a good name, I must be called as a greatest person. So all this desire for name and fame, subtle desires. So gross and subtle desires, with these most of us work. But a Karma Yogi does the work, but he has no desire for either name or fame or any pleasures for himself. No selfish pleasures he wants. He is doing things for helping others, considering others as children of God. Swami Vivekananda put that as seeing Shiva in Jiva, seeing God in all beings. God is there in all beings. That is what all the scriptures say. So whatever we do to the beings around us, maybe men, maybe women, maybe human beings, maybe even animals, even plants, to whomsoever, whatever we do, we are doing something for the living beings. And living beings, in every being, God himself is there. So whatever we do in the form of good, it is all worship. So work becomes worship. So that was dealt in the previous chapter. So that is being concluded here. So by doing this work, mind constantly thinks about God. And while thinking about God, every time we take the name of God, every time we think about God, the mind gets purified. Purified in the sense, it gives up its selfish desires. It becomes calm and quiet. The mind is running after desires. As we go on contemplating on God, so much less will the restlessness of our mind. Restlessness to the mind comes down. Restlessness comes because of selfish desires. When selfish desires leave us one by one, then more and more peace comes into our mind. So with that peaceful mind, we were able to realize God who is there in us. God need not be searched anywhere else outside. He is inside ourselves. He is residing in our heart. So in a pure mind, where restlessness has come to zero, it is calm like a lake. A calm lake reveals its bottom. At the bottom, people just, in a beautiful swimming tank, when you go, they paint the bottom with blue colors or green color. So when the water is very clear and calm, you see the whole water is blue. Water is ordinary water only, but it looks blue, beautiful blue color. It is at the bottom. The bottom is seen only when the water is completely placid and without any ripples. Similarly is our mind. Behind the mind is God Himself. God is sitting there in our heart. We are unable to see Him because our mind is ruffled. Mind is always in waves. So because it is in waves, though the bottom is pure, luminous, God Himself is there, but we are unable to see. Yoga enables us to make this mind calm and clear and without any restlessness. And the restlessness goes because desires go. Desires go because by contemplating on God, by meditating on God, by taking His name, we acquire the qualities of God Himself. That is the very nature of meditation. Whatever you meditate upon, we acquire the qualities of the meditated object. Suppose we meditate upon Ganesha, we acquire all the qualities of Ganesha. We meditate upon Vishnu, we meditate upon Shiva, we acquire the qualities of the deity. So when we think about God as Father of everyone, as the benefactor of everyone, as compassionate being to everyone, who helps everyone, the whole universe is His children, when we begin to think about this, and whenever we think about God, we also acquire that quality. We also feel like loving the whole world. We also feel like being brothers or sisters or related to the world in a very, very positive way. So these feelings come natural to us because of our contemplation of God. So contemplation of God comes to us through offering of all our actions at the end of performing it. So that was explained in the last sloka. It was told, by all these actions you get my grace. Mat prasadena mam jnatva. You know me through my grace. God's grace comes to us because we offer everything that we do at His feet. We worship Him through every one of our work. So that's what He wants. A father and mother wants from the child what? They don't want any help from him. Let that fellow love me. Let that fellow come and call me mother or father. That itself is joy. A child goes and ma, 10 times it says, and then mother is very happy. Father also, papa, if it goes and calls, then that itself is joy. As if he has got a big fortune from the child. Only he calls father as father. And father is like, this fellow has understood our real relationship. Now he acknowledged that I am his father. That itself is enough. God also wants that only. We want to remember Him that you are my father, you are my mother, you are the creator of this whole world. Whole world is yours. Therefore, whole world is mine also. I will behave like that. When this idea comes into us, God is pleased. That is why God is supposed to be pleased with those who are pleased with the world and who work for the world. Swami Vivekananda always used to say, there was a big manager proprietor of a big garden. He had 2 servants. Both the fellows would be there, and once in a year they would come and meet him and report about the garden. So one of them was a hypocrite. He would never do any work. Simply at the end of the year he would go and praise the proprietor. Oh sir, you are so beautiful, you are so good. We hear so many good things about you. We heard that you had such and such a award from such and such a place. So he will go on praising him. And on the field he does not work at all. He does not do anything. The other person, he does not praise the manager or the person, the proprietor, but he works hard on the garden, produces the best of fruits and vegetables. He carries best of fruits and vegetables and hands it over to the Lord. Sir, this is what has been produced in our garden. Very good fruits have come this time. This much only he speaks. With whom will the proprietor will be pleased? The other fellow who is just praising him hypocritically without working, or the person who is doing work and then offering what he has done from his work? Naturally, the second man is loved. Similarly is the world of men. So we are all children of God. God has sent us to do something in this world, to behave in a way, to live in a way, to remember Him also, and also serve the world also, be happy in the world also, at the same time not forgetting God also. This is what God has sent us for. Suppose we follow in his path, he will be pleased. So what was told in the previous chapter was, you do your work and offer it to God. So when we offer every one of our duties to God as service to him, he is certainly pleased, because he is remembering me and he is following the path that I have told. So his grace comes to us. Out of his grace, he reveals himself. Jnatva mam shanti mrichati. When he reveals himself, we attain the highest spiritual joy, that is called parashanti. Shanti mrichati, one attains to the highest peace, what we call as moksha, the freedom. The soul becomes free from the body and the mind. We are always tied down to body and mind. So when the real freedom comes to us, the soul feels free from the body and the mind. It feels itself the eternal entity. It feels itself, I have absolutely no death, because I had no birth at all. I have been always eternally like this, because I am part and parcel of God. We realize our own real spiritual nature. Now our spiritual nature is conditioned by our association with our body and mind. It is restricting our own nature. We are thinking that we are the bodies, we are the minds. But when real realization comes, we feel that we are the infinite souls, the infinite Atman, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Atman. The Atma, part and parcel of Paramatma. So we become one with God. We feel the presence of God within ourselves. All the blessedness of God, which we praise. Oh Lord, you are all powerful, you are all knowledge, you are all love. All that we feel ourselves, within ourselves. We are all love, all joy, and all power, all knowledge, and infinite life. So we ourselves realize our real Atmic nature. This comes to us by the grace of God. The grace of God comes to us by constantly worshipping him. Constantly worshipping means, what will we do with our work? Offer your work itself as worship. Turn work into worship. Then work is turned into worship. Whole of our life becomes a worship of the Lord. So this work and worship was told in the previous chapter. So the end, the Lord says, I am the protector and enjoyer of all the yajna and tapas, the worship as well as austerities, and I am the Lord of the whole universe. I am the well-wisher of everyone in this universe. Knowing me thus, one attains to the highest liberation. So we come to the end of this chapter, chapter 5. So we go into chapter 6, the Adhyatma Yoga, the way of contemplation. Atmani means the mind entering into the Atman, or mind directed towards the Atman, is called Adhyatma. So when the mind is turned towards Atman and gets concentrated in meditation on Atman, then we call this as Adhyatma Yoga. How to turn the mind towards contemplation and meditation and absorption. So this chapter takes it up. This chapter is supposed to be one of the very important chapters, and because it gives us yoga in a very detailed way. All of us are very fond of practicing yoga, and the basics of all yoga is here. Yoga in theory is all right, everybody can read. Yoga is to unite our mind with God. Yoga, yujur yoge. Yuju means to join. So to join our mind with God, that is called yoga. I work and then I offer every one of my work to God. Through that, I am directing my mind towards God. My mind gets united with God. Therefore, it is called karma yoga. Through karma, I unite my mind to God. So it's called karma yoga. Jnana yoga. Jnana yoga, through reasoning, we connect our mind to God. So that is through jnana, our mind is connected. That is also yujur yoga, through connection. And also the another meaning is yoga, yuja samadho. Concentrating the mind also is called yoga. If you say oh, he is in yoga. That means he is in a concentrated state of his mind. All our mind is meditating on God, or meditating on the Shastras, or meditating on Bagavad Gita. On any one subject, if you make all our mind concentrated, that is also called yoga. Yuji samadho. Samadhi means the concentrated state of mind. Bringing the mind into concentration, concentrated state, is also called samadhi. So, is also called yoga. So, yoga has got two meanings. One is connecting the mind to God. Another is concentrating the mind on any object, including God also. In both the respects, this yoga is used. So, here Adhyatma Yoga is used in the meaning of concentrating the mind on Atman. How to turn the mind from the worldly things to thinking of Atman, that is within ourselves. We consider this body as something like a wall. There is inside, there is a round wall like a fort. Something is inside and something is outside. Actually, there is no inside or outside except for this wall. So, this wall is our body. So, we always think that which is external to our body is all external world. So, that is inside, behind our mind, behind our body, our senses, our mind, and different faculties of the mind. All these are inside, in inner world. There is an outer world and an inner world for us. And the outer world and inner world are the same world. The same one world is the world of creation. But we have made it into two because we are attached to our body, mind, and we are the soul behind the body and the mind. Therefore, there is something like a screen separating the external world and our internal world. So, when we turn the mind towards internal things like knowing my own mind, knowing my own intelligence, knowing my own ego, knowing my own different samskaras or the impressions that are inside, and knowing my own soul. So, I turn my mind inside. Otherwise, through my senses I go outside and see the external world. But during yoga, we turn the mind away from the world and turn it towards the inner things of analyzing our mind, going deep into the deeper layers of subconscious and unconscious states. Behind that one, we find ourselves, the infinite Atman. So, this yoga is described here. This is called the science of spirit. Swami Vivekananda called it as science of spirit. There is the science of physics, science of chemistry, science of biology. Similarly, Swamiji called this yoga, this Raja Yoga. He gave the name Raja Yoga. Before Swamiji, Raja Yoga was never used. It was called only Dhyana Yoga. Swamiji gave that Raja Yoga name. After Swamiji, it has taken the name of Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga means the king of all yogas, because that is the practical method by which we can attain perfection in all the other three yogas. In Karma Yoga, suppose you want to be perfect, always remember God when you do your duty. Mind must be focused. Unless mind is focused, we forget God. Therefore, focusing of the mind is done through this Raja Yoga. How to focus this mind? Similarly, Jnana Yoga, you must be aware that everything in this world is fleeting, transient, ephemeral, moves away, and Atman alone abides. You must be always focused on this topic. That's called Jnana Yoga. There also focusing the mind is required, so we require Raja Yoga. So this yoga is required. Similarly, Bhakti Yoga also. In Bhakti Yoga, we concentrate all our mind on our Ishta Devata. Either it's Shiva or Kali or Krishna. Our mind is always directed to Krishna. We want to please Krishna. We want to please Shiva or please Mother Kali. So we direct all our activities in an emotional way. So again there is the focusing of our mind through emotional approach to God. So there also again this yoga comes. So this yoga is the king of all yogas, or the basis of all other three yogas. So Swamiji called this as science of the spirit, science of the Atman. How to know the Atman? Suppose somebody asks. So we can say you can attain through Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. But what are the steps to that one? So you have to come back to this yoga, which tells you how we have to slowly turn our physical energies into the mental, and then mental energies into the spiritual direction. So all these things are described in detail. Therefore, this is called, by different names it is called. Here it is called by Sridhara Swami, Adhyatma Yoga. Other people call it as Atma Sanyama Yoga. Others call it as Yoga Abhyasa Yoga. By whatever name you call, here the yoga or concentration of the mind on our inner self. This is the subject here. So this is taken up. What is the purpose of taking up this one? In the previously, it was all told that you, in the last two stanzas before the final sloka, sparshan kritva bahirbahyan chakshusheva antare bhruvoho pranapanam samam kritva nasabhyantara charinam yatendriya manobuddhir munir moksha parayana vigatecha bhaya krodho yassada muktayeva saha. In a very short span of 2 slokas, the yoga was described there. The same thing is taken up here in detail. So how does it start? Why is this yoga described? First of all, first sloka starts telling that he that does the work without aspiring for the fruits of his action, he is a karma yogi also, and he is a jnana yogi also. So this is the first sloka. Why is this comparison of jnana yogi and karma yogi are brought together? Because jnana yoga comes out of karma yoga. When the mind is restless, we go on doing work, and when we convert our work into worship through the method that has been told, offering all our karma, the mind becomes desireless. When the mind becomes desireless, it comes under our control. Then we can contemplate on Atman. We can contemplate on Brahman. We can contemplate on the oneness of Atman and Brahman, what is described in the Upanishads as Tattvamasi Shvetaketo. You are that Brahman. You are that Brahman means what? How do we become Brahman? You are that God, suppose they say, but I feel I am only this small person, a Gautamananda, a small person. How can I be God? Then we have to think, no, what that says is you are God, means you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are the soul behind the body and the mind. As soul, you are God. Because what you call as soul, when it is associated with your body and mind, that is Gautamananda or Prathamananda, Dvitiyananda, whatever it is, you give the name. So, the Atman, when it gets associated with mind and body, that infinite Atman calls itself one person, a limited being. When the limitations are removed, then it becomes one with the infinite. Just as Sri Ramakrishna used to give the example, the vessel is put into a big tank. Some water gets into the vessel, and most of the water is outside. So water inside the vessel thinks, oh, I belong to vessel. Actually, it belongs to the whole ocean. But it always thinks, I am the water in this vessel, I am water in this silver vessel, I am water in the golden vessel. So that little water, without identifying itself with others, because of this upadhi or the limitation of this vessel, though it is one with the infinite water, it thinks that I am the water in the silver vessel. What are you? I am silver vessel water, I am golden vessel water, I am diamond vessel water. But you belong to that infinite ocean. The water does not say, because of this limitation. Similarly is our body and mind. It is the limitation in which the infinite Atman is there. It is one with Brahman. God and our soul are one. Me and God are one. God alone is me. According to Bhaktas, this ego has no existence. God alone has got existence. So God alone is there in every one of us. The Bhakta says. The Jnani says, Atman alone, I alone is there. Atma means I. Whenever we say Atman, we think that it is somewhere there outside. Atma means we must think I. Nanu. This Nanu சொல்றது இதுதான் Atma. Vyapnoti iti Atma. That which pervades the whole body has life force. as a consciousness, that is called Atma. Apnoti, Vyapnoti. So everywhere in our body we are here. So if somebody touches your finger, you say, why do you touch me? But are you the finger? You are the whole body. Suppose somebody touches your toe, hey, why are you touching me? Suppose somebody touches your head, you say, why do you touch me? We are everywhere in the body. We are pervading. And perhaps when we become yogis, we will be in everybody, in everything. Wherever you touch, oh, he is coming to me, he has come near me. So we would feel our presence everywhere. So Vyapnoti iti Atma. Atma means that which pervades the whole thing. That is that soul. The soul is called Atman. Atman must always be thought as I, a conscious being. So whenever we say Atma, we think, oh, Atma is somewhere here. No, Atma is not there. Atma means Nani, I myself. So this Atman is one with the Paramatma. When it is taught, what does that mean? These limitations are to be removed. So the body is not the Atma, the mind is not the Atma, the buddhi is not the Atma, the ego is not the Atma. Why is not the ego Atma? We are all egoistic only. But that ego goes on changing. Whatever changes cannot be the changeless Atma. Ego changes. You see, when we were little children, we never felt any bad. Suppose somebody called us a fool. Hey, you are a fool. Then the child will say, yes, I am a fool. He takes it completely, very calmly. He does not bother. It is a scolding. When he grows up, when you say, if you call him a fool, he will go and complain to his father, complain to his mother, make a big ruckus in the whole house. He has called me fool and you are all keeping quiet. You must go and punish that fellow. You see, he has developed the ego. Therefore, he feels it. When the ego is not there in a child, he does not feel anything at all. So this is an infinite Atman. You call him in any way, it does not affect him at all. So these limitations, when they are removed, then we become that infinite Atman. That is what it means. When the Upanishad says, you are that Brahman, Tattvamasi, or Upanishad says, you must feel, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that God, I am that infinite Brahman. Not this body and the mind, but that which is behind this body and the mind. When the body and mind are removed, what remains? The Atman remains. The Atman is infinite. Brahman is infinite. There cannot be two infinities. They become one. So the Atman is Brahman. That is the equation. So when we say that I am Brahman or you are the Brahman, what it means is you are that Atman which is beyond this body and the mind. And that Atman is one with God. So here also, when we offer all our duties, everything, it becomes a worship. Through that, all our mind becomes calm. In that mind, throughout what are we doing? We are giving up the fruits of our action and the agency or the agentship that I am the doer. I am a great person. I have done such a big thing. If you do a greater thing, you think you are a greater person. If you do a smaller thing, you think it's a small person. So this doership, giving up the fruits of our deeds and the doership, when we offer it away, giving up. So that is the very characteristic of sannyasa also, jnanis. When the jnani or the person who goes through the jnana yoga, he always thinks, I am not the doer, I am not the doer. The Lord, the Brahman alone does. So I am nobody. Only Brahman is there. Or my Atman alone is there. The body and the mind are doing. So Atman does not do anything. A jnani always thinks, Atman does not work. Only the mind works, the senses work, the body works. Atman, he only sits as a judge or a supervisor. He does not involve himself into any of these activities. By his very presence, the body, the mind, the senses, they work and go. This is the jnani's way of looking at it. That means he is not attached to anything, either doership or the fruits of the action. So he is called a sannyasi, a person who has given up all selfish desires. And similarly is the question of a karma yogi also. Karma yogi also, he offers all his action. Oh Lord, you have got it done through me. Not I, but thou. He also is giving up the fruits of action and doership. In that sense, the jnani as well as the karmi, the person who does his action and the person who is only meditating on Brahman, both of them are the same. Only a question of higher development. When our mind becomes pure, we are able to meditate. The Karma Yoga will lead us into Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yogi is in degree college and the Karma Yogi is in the middle school. Middle school is nothing inferior to the college. Middle school is required for the middle school children. This fellow will grow up into a college student. And the college also must be there, middle school also must be there. One is a feeder to the other. So there is nothing inferior or superior to us. It's a question of growth. So when we are at a particular growth, we are Karma Yogis. Then when we progress in our growth, when our mind becomes pure, we are able to concentrate on our own spiritual nature without doing any work. So we are able to concentrate and meditate for 18 hours a day. Then we have become Jnana Yogis. We don't have to go and work. I just simply sit and meditate and get all the joy that people get out of playing outside or going for entertainment. A Jnani will get everything through his meditation. So that stage will come. To come to that stage, Karma Yoga is a stage, it grows into Jnana Yoga. So both are praised here in this chapter to start with. Otherwise people may think meditation is the best thing, therefore why should we do this work? No, how do you come to the state of meditation? Through work only. When we do all our works, our duties, and offer them to God, do it with a sense of joy. So I do something for my father, something for my family people, something for my country. Let me do it with joy, and slowly I will progress. A time will come, then I need not do anything. I have no duty. I only pray to God, meditate on God. I am merged in infinite bliss. People get all their joy in their meditation, in their contemplation, in prayers. What we get through all our physical activities. So we have to go for so many entertainment, we have to attain so many clubs. For what? Deriving some pleasure. The man who has realized really the joy of meditation, he would not go for your club, he would not go for any other entertainment. He would say, all the joy I get in my meditation itself. We have seen so many people like that. Swami Yatishwarananji, once he saw many of the brahmacharis of the Belur Math. We all went for a spiritual drama. It's called Yatra. So it was called Nimai Sannyas. Nimai is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya takes sannyas. That is the part on that day for the drama. So to see that Nimai Sannyas, Sri Chaitanya's becoming a sannyasi, so many of our brahmacharis were permitted in the Belur Math. Go and see that. It was very near our ashrama, by the side of our Belur Math. So we all went and returned. So Swami Yatishwaranji was there. Some of us went to him and told, Swami, we saw today this Nimai Sannyas. It was very interesting. So many of our Swamis were weeping. When Nimai Sannyas is there, when I take to sannyas, his mother Shachi comes and she weeps. Naturally, the son has become a sannyasi. He will be no more with me. So Shachi goes on uttering so many nice sentiments, and she goes on weeping. And many of the Swamis also wept. So we reported this one. Swami, there was so much of enjoyment. The drama was very good. We all enjoyed it. Then he heard us for some time. Then he remarked a short remark. He told, I don't require any such enjoyment at all. If I can sit for meditation, I get all that enjoyment. He had been doing it. He would just sit for meditation and he would be bubbling with joy in 2 minutes. You could see his face bubbling, mumbling the mantra. His face would be red. Simply he would be merged in joy. You see, through meditation he gets all the joy that we got by going to that drama, sitting there for 2.5 hours, weeping with people who wept, laughing with people who laughed. All these are not required. Inside yourself, there is a source of infinite joy. We don't know we don't have the access to it. That is why we run here and there. So here, this sloka says, the person who has given up the desire for self, the fruits of his action, or for his name and fame, so his mind becomes calm. He is also a sannyasi. Though he is doing karma, he has given up. The giving up is called sannyasa. So in that sense, the karma yogi is also a sannyasi. Therefore, all of you don't jump into sannyasa. Don't say everyone will go and meditate only, we don't want to do our work. Do your work. Go on doing your work, considering it as a worship of God. Sri Ramakrishna also discouraged anybody and everybody to give up his work. Many of his disciples, they went and told, sir, we also want to give up our worldly duties and become sannyasis. He said, no, don't. So you do your worldly duties, but always don't forget God. Hold on to God's feet with one hand, with another hand do the duties of your world. That means you will grow at a time when with both hands you can worship God. Now immediately if you give up, what will happen to your responsibilities to your society? You yourself will not feel very happy when once you give up your family, when you are attached to the family, when you try to become a sannyasi, you will neither be a good sannyasi nor you will be helping your family. Rather, do your duties to the family. Then when the family, the children grow up, they stand on their own feet, children themselves will come and tell, Papa, you don't have to do anything, keep quiet. Then we must be able to say, wonderful, this is what I was expecting. So you must be able to go into your meditation. So Sri Ramakrishna advises to do like that. Develop yourself. Prepare yourself for meditative life, and the chance for it will come. Your own duties will drop off by themselves. How do they drop off? It is a very common thing in the world. When we become seniors, juniors want to take up the responsibility. We don't want to give, that is the point. The seniors must give the responsibility. It is good for both. He can devote himself to a higher life. It is not only in action, it is in contemplation also. Contemplation of God, contemplation of the goodness of the world, goodness for everyone. So these things give great joy. One feels as much as he would feel we go and help people physically. When I have prayed for everybody's welfare, I would feel the same joy and peace. If I sincerely could pray like that, this is a higher way of serving the society. So we want people of meditation also. We want people who work also. People who work, they mature into meditative people. And again the younger people are there, they will carry out the work. So the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, there are two levels. So this starts with saying, Anashrita karma phalam, karyam karma karoti yaha, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha, na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. Anashrita karma phalam. Karma phalam anashritya. Not looking for, not aspiring for the fruits of action. Do the work in a sort of an honorary way. Don't expect for remuneration for everything. Do things out of love. Just for being of service to society, we do. This is called selfless work. So, karma phalam anashritya, not expecting any fruits of one's action. Karma, karyam karma yaha karoti. One who does his duties. One who does his duties and then say, so whatever is the fruits of this action, God knows. So I am not bothered about. We do so much of our duties to our children, to our youngsters, to our parents. We should not expect in return. Now I have educated my children, they will all grow up, they will return that to me. So I have served for 20 years, they must serve me for 20 years. If this expectation is there, almost 99 cases it will be disappointment only. So they may, the children, they may grow up and they may serve you by 20, they may serve you for 50 years also. But there is no rule. It is out of their own love they will do. How do you get their love? You give them love, in return you will get love from them. And love makes them serve you. You don't have to expect service from them. You love them with all your heart, and the love attracts love. It comes back to you. So that is how good parents, they get good children. Good children again, they turn out to be good parents. So it just goes on. That is how our Bharatavarsha goes. In our country, this is what we have learned. You give love, the love comes back to you. The love comes to you in the form of service, in the form of help, in the form of compassion, in the form of everything that is good. So we must give love. So this loving everyone comes naturally to a spiritual person. So karyam karma anashrita karma phalam yaha karoti. He who does his duties, allotted duties in a way not expecting any results from it. That is out of love. I love my brother, I help him. I love my children, I help them. I love my parents, I help them. Parents also do the same thing. Out of love we must live. The more of love comes into us, in our actions, in our thoughts, in our words, so we become more and more spiritual. So he says here, when one works, does his duties without expecting any results from it, that is when we work out of love. So we are called sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He can be called as a person who has given up his duties and is meditating always on God. So a person who has given up his duty is called a sannyasi. So you can call him as a sannyasi because he has given up the expectation for any results from his duty or for name or fame. All people must praise me. I never expect anything. I do my duty and forget about it. If people come and praise, let them do it. It is their duty. I don't expect from them. So let people praise or let them not praise. I don't bother for either of them. In that case, I will always be at peace and I will always be at joy. Sa sannyasi cha. He is a renouncer of action. Sa yogi cha. He is called a yogi. He is a karma yogi. He is doing his duty. A person who does his duty, he is called a yogi. From the point of view of the work that he is doing, from the point of view that he is not expecting any results from his action, either name or fame or physical comforts or anything, from that point of view, he is a sannyasi. He has given up. He has given up the selfish desires. So the yogi is also a sannyasi. And the sannyasi, he has become mature by meditating on God and thinking about the world, welfare of the world always. He doesn't want to indulge in physical work. You need not. After a particular level, nobody expects physical work from you. What is the retirement? They say, retirement is, we don't want your duties anymore. You are free. You are freed from your service. Now people have become more intelligent. You want to retire at 55 years, at 40th year still we will submit our application. Voluntary service. Voluntary retirement. So this is another aggressive way of seeking sannyas. So we don't want to do your duty. At 45th year still we will resign. So giving up the duties is called sannyasa. So for that we must get qualified. The mind, when it becomes pure, we are able to meditate, spend our major part of our life, waking life, in meditation. We are fit for jnanis. So at that time the work goes away. So he is also called a sannyasi. And yogi is called a sannyasi because he has given up his selfish desires for the fruits of the action or for the name and fame. In both of them are, the yogi is called a sannyasi also. Na niragnihi na cha akriya. Not that you don't call that person who says that I don't do any work at all. So he is not a sannyasi. He may not do any work, but he may be craving for fruits of his work. People may not work, but they may be expecting, I must be respected, I must be thought of as a very rich person, I must get a great fortune, some fortune may come to me unexpectedly. All desires, worldly desires are there. Only this fellow is not working for accomplishing his desires. That is hypocrisy. Entertaining desires for the worldly things, not working for it. So this is hypocrisy. So you pose yourself, I have no desire at all, therefore I don't work. But inside all the desires are lurking. So na niragnihi. Agni means the Agni Karya, the homa, the sacrifices, etc. that are done by lighting the fire. So many activities are there, the Vedic rituals in which you require a fire. So that is called Agni Karya. So a person says, I will not do this Agni Karya. Giving up the Agni, that means giving up the Yajna, Yaga, Homa, etc. for which you require fire. That means certain types of duty I don't do. If somebody says, he cannot be called as a sannyasi, but he may be having desire. The people who do all this Agni Karya, they have desires. So to achieve that desire, they do it. So you give up the Agni Karya, but you have the desire to get to the joy and enjoyment of that Agni Karya. Then you are not a sannyasi. Na niragnihi. A person who just gives up the work without giving up the selfish desires, he is not a sannyasi. Nacha akriyaha. There are ordinary activities also mentioned. Ordinary activities means all that we do towards the world for helping the world. So we just dig wells, we construct choultries, we construct hostels, free hostels. All these things are also works, good works. They don't require any agni. They don't have to light a fire for that. But they are also charitable works. These charitable works also one should do. Suppose one says, I will not do any work. I give up all my charitable work. I give up all the work. He is called akriya, who has given up the duties. A person who gives up the duties like helping the world in many ways, or a person who gives up the spiritual duties or the religious duties which he would do by lighting the fire, they cannot be called as sannyasis. Usually a sannyasi is supposed to not to light the fire. He is a niragni. That means he does not want to do any ritualistic worship. Therefore, he does not light a fire. A sannyasi should not light the fire. And when you do not light the fire, how do you cook your food? You cannot cook. That is why sannyasi goes for begging. He does not cook. Though you may give him rice, dal, etc., he will say, rather give me a handful of rice already cooked. Instead of giving me this, I cannot cook. So he is the niragni. So he cannot light the fire or do anything of the rituals that are done through lighting the fire. And other welfare activities also, people, the sannyasi has given up because all the time he is meditating on God. Through God he is praying for welfare of the whole world. By praying to God, please keep the whole world well. Please remove the poverty of everyone. Please remove the peacelessness among the nations, between the nations. Every day he goes on praying, Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, Sarve santu niramayaha. His prayers are like that. Sarve means everybody. In this world, the animate and inanimate, that sarva includes everything. Let everybody, everything be in peace. So his prayers go on 24 hours. That is the greatest work he is doing for society. He need not come and work with us, along with us, taking a pickaxe or taking some other instrument in a physical way. There is no necessity. At a mental level, he is spreading the message of peace. Everybody is getting the help of it. Such people are there thinking noble thoughts. So we also get the inspiration from them. You see, this person, he does not get anything from the world. He does not expect. If you give him also, he does not accept. But in return, he is praying for the welfare of the world. So such people, they are called the akriyas. They don't do any activity. And they don't do any agni karya also. Therefore, they are called niragni. They are niragni, nishkriya. Both of them, only such people can be called. Not those persons who are having desires, but yet they do not do the work. So, the karma yogi who offers all his fruits of his action, he is called a sannyasi also. Sannyasi and the yogi, both of them are one only. He that gives up the selfish desires for name and fame or physical comforts, so he is called a sannyasi. So the yogi is a sannyasi also. So anashtrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiyaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. Not that person who has given up his duties, entertaining desire for the worldly enjoyments or the heavenly enjoyments, but the one who does not expect any results from his action, but goes on doing his activities as an offering to God. He is both a karma yogi as well as a jnana yogi. So karma yogi and jnana yogi, they are the same. There is no inferior or superior. One matures into the other. So it starts with this sloka. The next sloka says, Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahi asanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Why do you say like that? He is the person who has given up his selfish desires. He is a sannyasi, he is a jnana yogi. Why do you say? So the reason is given, Yam sannyasam iti prahuhu, that which is called as sannyasa, that means jnana yoga, Tam yogam tam vidhi Pandava. Arjuna thinks that as karma yoga. So if somebody has given up all his activities and is able to meditate, so he is a jnana yogi. So we call, oh, he is practicing jnana yoga. What is called as jnana yoga, you know that it was karma yoga only. At a particular time he himself was doing the work without expecting any fruits. Giving up all selfish motives, he was selflessly doing his duties. From that only he has become a meditator today, a jnana yogi. A karma yogi has become a jnana yogi. All the householders in that olden times, they used to go into vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is the state preparatory to sannyasa. That means a grihastha becomes a sannyasi automatically. How? Grihastha, he does his duty and offers all the duties at the feet of the Lord. He works selflessly. A selfless grihastha will become a good sannyasi. Almost all the great sannyasis we hear about in the ancient times, they were all householders at some time. Yajnavalkya himself was a householder. Then he becomes a sannyasi. First he was a householder, and there is no greater sannyasi than a Yajnavalkya, and greater householder than a Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya from householdership, by doing duties properly, he became a great sannyasi. So many great people are there who have all through karma yoga, they have become sannyasi, jnana yogis. Yam sannyasamiti prahu. What is called as sannyasa, yogam tam vidhi. You know that as karma yoga only. In karma yoga, you do the work, but then offer the fruits to the Lord. But here he does not do the work, but he is dedicating himself entirely to God. The jnana yogi does not do the work, but he is immersed in God. Whereas karma yogi is doing the work and also he is thinking about God always. Both of them are common in contemplating about God. One is doing the work and contemplating on God. One is completely given up that work. The work then itself has dropped. So no work comes to him. He has attained to a state when no people expect from him anything. They have allowed him, so completely he is merged in God. So what you call as sannyasa is yoga, karma yoga itself. It is something like, some people say honorary work, and some people they work without any remuneration. So I don't want any remuneration, I work. So he does not accept any remuneration at all. Some people, they accept any remuneration, give the whole back to the same institution. We know so many people. We know people, though we don't want any remuneration, we work honorary work. The other people, they say, all right, you can debit against my account, I will sign the voucher. I don't want to take the money, you take it back yourself. Both of them are same. For us, he also does not take any money, he also does not take money. Sannyasa is there. Both of them. He is called the karma yogi. Karma yogi, he receives the remuneration, he gives it back. You offer all our fruits of our action and our doership at the feet of the Lord. My remuneration I give back to God. So I become a sannyasi. I am also an honorary worker. Another person says, I don't want your salary at all. I don't want to sign your voucher at all. He is also an honorary worker. Two types of sannyasis are there. One is doing the work but does not expect anything. He is also a sannyasi. He is called a karma yogi. Here is a jnana yogi who says, I don't want to sign your voucher at all. I don't want any remuneration. A person who works without remuneration, a person who donates all his remuneration back to the society. Both of them are the same in effect. But outside, people say, oh, he is receiving remuneration, he is giving it back. He does not receive the remuneration at all. So, sa sannyasi, yam sannyasamiti pravuhu, he that is called a sannyasi, he that has given up all the work and meditating, call it as yoga itself, karma yoga itself. That is also a type of karma yoga. Yogam tam vidhi Pandava. Why? Because asanyasta sankalpaha yogi na bhavati. If one has not given up all the desires from his mind, so he cannot be a jnana yogi. So one has to give up all the desires in the mind for the fruits of the action or for one's own doership. Unless one gives it up, one cannot become a real karma yogi. A karma yogi also has no desire at all. And a jnana yogi also has no desire. Therefore, what we call is karma yoga and jnana yoga, sannyasa and yoga, they are the same. Asanyasta sankalpaha. He that has not given up his selfish desires cannot become a karma yogi. That means a karma yogi has given up all his desires for the doership as well as the fruits of his action. That means he is equivalent to sannyasi only. From outside only we feel the difference. But otherwise, a karma yogi and the jnana yogi, they are the same. The karma yogi is going after some time to give up his external activity also. External activities is continuing for some time. He is expecting that to drop off by itself. This is the words Sri Ramakrishna uses for the maturity of a karma yogi into a jnana yogi. Sri Ramakrishna always used to say, haven't you seen the palm trees? Palm trees, they grow. When they grow, the branches, when they become old, they drop by themselves. You don't have to pull them. You don't have to cut them. The branches of a palm tree, like the coconut tree, you can see many marks are there. There were all branches, at every mark there was a branch. And when it has matured, it falls off by itself. Otherwise, just you have to touch it, that's all, it falls down. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, this should be the attitude of a karma yogi. You go on doing your work, but don't expect anything. Offer all your work at the feet of the Lord. You will see after some time, the work itself will leave you. So when you go on, when you are not accepting anything, any remuneration for your work, you are going on working. How long people will expect you to, will take your work? Sir, you are taking so much of trouble. When we pay, you don't take anything. Please just be yourself. You are quite old now. You need not come here. You spend your own time. We will give you whatever help you want for your meditation or your contemplation. There was a great poet, Ram Prasad. This Ram Prasad, I will close with that. Ram Prasad was a great yogi, but he had some duties, he had a family. So for that he took up a job of a cashier. But then even when he is doing his cashier's work, he is meditating about Mother Kali. He is writing poems about Kali. So once his master came and saw beautiful poems about Mother Kali. He has written beautiful songs and he is singing also. Sitting at the seat of the cashier, he is singing Mother Kali's songs. Then the person, the employer, he thought, this is very bad of me. Such a great devotee of Mother Kali, I am taking work from him as a cashier. He said, you need not come here. I will send your remuneration to your house. You use that remuneration, sing about Kali. That is your work. All his life he got something like a pension from that man and he devoted himself to God. So Sri Ramakrishna refers to such cases. Duties will leave you. You are left to completely contemplate on God when you become mature enough for that. So Karma Yogi matures himself into a Jnana Yogi. We will take this subject up in our next class. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.